Folks, remember, you can find us at DramaticCinematic.com, and of course, you can also listen to the show on Stitcher, look us up on iTunes, or you can also find us on Facebook, Dramatic Cinematic. Don't forget to look us up on Twitter, at PC Podcast Crew. Now on to the show. And salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this wonderful, this dark and musty, steamy experience we like to call the internet. You are currently listening to the Dramatic Cinematic Show. I am your host, like always, the hillbilly in the house, Mugumbo. And with me tonight is the man who refuses to be called a hero, Mr. Mike Whitcliffe.
That's right.
And from the West Coast, bring in the Pacific Ocean salty style, the heretic of the bunch, of the Dramatic Trio, Mr. David DeMoss.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man is batshit insane. Complete batshit.
They were all batshit insane to an extent. But before we get into that, folks, we are the Dramatic Cinematic Show, and we come to you all the time to bring you little either jewels, gems, or complete turds, or lumps of coal of horror and disgusting or wonderful pieces of cinema. This is, I would say, going to be a film that we all love. Yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. Surprisingly enough. I'd forgotten how much I love this movie.
Surprisingly enough. Folks, we are discussing the Terry Gilliam masterpiece, really. It was not his best work, but it is it's up there. It's total Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam doesn't have anything but best work.
We're discussing the film 12 Monkeys here, and I think I got a trailer somewhere. I don't know if it's really any good. We'll just cut out of it if we get bored with it. But 12 Monkeys,
You're a very good observer, Cole.
It brought together some big talent before.
An opportunity to reduce the sentence considerably.
I mean, Bruce Willis was already big. I don't think he was nearly as big as he is today. Would you say, guys?
Well, he's done Die Hard at very least.
And Die Hard 2.
I was about to say, he even done Die Hard 2, I think. But,
Die Hard with a Vengeance. With a Vengeance,
he wasn't the force of nature that he is now.
Let's see here.
And Brad Pitt was basically a nobody when he was cast in this movie. When I say nobody, he wasn't a top-tiered actor at the time.
Well, yeah, he was starting to be known, but, I think Interview with the Vampire was already out. I know that when he started filming this, he was coming directly off of having done Seven.
In Legends of the Fall. Basically, after he had filmed this, before this hit the theaters, Legends of the Fall, Seven, and the other one, Interview with the Vampire, all came out. Like he basically knocked it out of the park. Like, everything he was in turned to gold. Which is
my understanding is that I think it was the week after they started filming, Time Magazine named me Sexiest Man Alive.
That'll do it.
And yet he still did it for almost no money.
Right, well, yeah. Yeah, well, just because you're sexy doesn't.
Well,
I mean,
they almost no money.
Ryan Reynolds. I mean, look,
film is still enough.
They also said the guy that
bit of money.
They said the guy that played Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds, Van Wilder, was sexiest man alive. So really.
Well, but by the same token, like Dave mentioned about not making any money on it, Bruce Willis basically did the movie for free. He took back end points, and then the movie went on to make 5 times its budget. So,
and that's and
he
why
probably did okay.
And why would somebody like that do such a thing, Mike?
Because he wanted to work with Terry Gilliam.
And who wouldn't?
And you know what? I would do the same.
Because he was smart enough to know. He knew. He's like, hey. This guy is because he probably seen Brazil. I mean, we should do a podcast on Brazil sometime. You know, I'm making a note right now. One of these days we'll get around to that.
Yeah, everyone should see Brazil. I certainly hope Bruce Willis had by 1995.
What is it about these? What is it about these Gilliam films that have this color, this look to them, this graininess? It's I guess when I was watching Brazil and Munchausen and some of the other things that he's done,
unique color palette.
Yes, and I always thought I attributed the other stuff to being British, but this is an American film.
Well, and there's also the fact that Terry Gilliam's not actually British. He was born in Minnesota.
Right.
But
he did. But a lot of his early stuff was obviously being a Python. Much of his early stuff was British. So looking at like his early stuff was like, well, you can kind of contribute. Like, but it is. I don't know if it's a filter or I mean, what is it? Do you guys know enough about?
A lot of that's put in post. Actually, when I watched this for the show this week, I watched it with the commentary on, which is something that I never seem to get around to doing unless I'm doing something like this. And one of the things they talked about is that he was trying very hard to not make what people attribute to be a Terry Gilliam movie, which means the very specific color palette, the kind of film grain that you see in all of his movies. However, the team that he was working with loved that all of that look so much. They loved working with. They loved the idea of working with him because they would get to work within that look. That they put it in anyway, and so he completely failed at not making a Terry Gilliam movie.
Well, I mean, he is Terry Gilliam. It's kind of hard to not make your movie, but I do understand the idea there because this does. It's not just honestly, if this had all bright, shiny, vibrant colors. There's things when they start going to the future back and forth in this like it looks very Gilliam futuristic kind of lo-fi style.
I thought it was possible they just ripped those clear plastic suits directly off from the Brazil truck.
It's very possible. I mean, honestly, it was like the same costume designer worked on both, and some of the same creative director, and probably. But that's also part of what creates that Terry Gilliam style is the people that he surrounds himself with, but it's beautiful. As a fan, obviously. I have no gripes with that, but it's like one of those things that you can like look at a picture from this movie and know what movie it is immediately, or at least who did it. It might take a second to figure out which movie it was, but just from the colors and the look of the whole shot and everything.
Well, yeah, like our first shot of our hero is a nice tilted close up of his great big head in the center of the frame. That's Terry Gilliam completely.
And apparently, they gave Gilliam gave Bruce Willis a list of like Willis-isms or things that he is like known that are like his little trademark like looks and things that he does that he was not allowed to do. Because he also
he didn't do one of them. He was excellent in this movie.
Yes,
I wish he brought this to cop out.
Shit, right? I mean, if you could, you cannot give that to Bruce Willis today. He will fucking kill you, apparently. But it was 1990. Well, it was 1995 too. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
He was still creative. He was still open minded, and he's like, "Well, this is an amazing director, and he's done some amazing pieces of work that I really respect. I'll do whatever he says. I will trust him. Now he doesn't have to trust anybody.
And I will give him a performance. Right? I'll be a character instead of Bruce Willis.
And he acted his ass off.
Well, just like Brad Pitt.
Probably my favorite thing from both Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt.
No
well,
shit.
I will say,
maybe not Brad Pitt, but he did a great job too.
Fight Club, I cannot help it. Fight Club, Brad Pitt is just amazing.
Fight Club is damn good, but I like this better than Fight Club.
Just as a whole movie, or just because of
as a whole movie?
I know. Well, sure.
Although I like his performance better in this than I did Fight Club.
Okay, well, I like Pitt better in Fight Club. But
Pitt has more to do with the absolute douche he was playing in Fight Club. So
honestly, I thought Brad Pitt was pretty awesome in Legends of the Fall, and that was not a movie that I boycotted. Like when it came out, because he was supposed to be the heartthrob, blah blah blah. Right, but he was really. That was really an awesome movie. It really was a fucking awesome movie. I'm sorry, it really was.
Never seen it. Don't really care.
It was one of those things I never wanted to see.
Like I've got nothing against it. I just don't care.
I didn't, Mike. I was the same way. I had no interest in it my whole life, and then one day I watched it and I was like, wow, I'm really kind of touched. Anyways, so looking at different things of what Brad Pitt's done. I mean, we all know Bruce Willis is McClane, right? He will always be McClane, I do have
McClane when he's not working, when he doesn't want to put any effort into anything.
Right. Well, I do have the newest Die Hard movie, and it's not a Die Hard movie, but it says Die Hard on the cover.
It's a Die Hard movie.
It says it on the cover. It says it on the cover. Therefore, it is, but it's not a Die Hard movie by any stretch. He's not held up in a anyways.
He's Super Cop now.
It's still. Yeah,
like in Die Hard 2?
Yeah.
12 Monkeys explores some things that Terry Gilliam has really looked into multiple times before. Terry really likes the idea and the conundrums and the wackiness of time travel. The different possibilities of
Except there are no little people in this one.
Right, but but even in a
and no David Warner, which is a shame.
You got time bandits.
You got
but
Christopher Plummer though.
Baron Munchausen, was I wouldn't say he didn't really time travel, but he went through fantasy worlds, which was very similar to time travel ish. As far as and that's I don't know. Terry really kind of likes the that confusing plot stories and kind of surprise ending, but not right. I don't know.
It's definitely a surprise ending. Which, by the way, spoiler alert for 12 Monkeys. The following is an in-depth analysis. If you haven't seen this, you might want to before listening to the rest of us prattle on about it, because we're gonna.
Yeah,
put us on hold and go watch the movie.
Yeah, and when we come back after a break.
And most places have it for about $8 if you feel you have to buy it.
I got it on eBay for $8 on Blu-ray, brand new. And it was worth it.
It's 8 or 9 on Amazon right now.
And it had the...
and you can get to that Amazon from our homepage.
Yes.
CinematicCinematic.com.
CinematicCinematic.com.
Yes.
And it has the commentary with Terry Gilliam and the producer Charles Roven.
And that commentary is excellent.
It is pretty good. I got through a bunch of it. I also watched the Hamster Theory.
Yeah, I need to get around to watching that again. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Well, the
Hamster Theory, Louis, what's that?
The Hamster Theory is this thing where Terry Gilliam is such a perfectionist that there's a shot that shows McClane in the chair, getting ready to do the time travel, and there's supposed to be a shadow on the wall. In this most insignificant of scenes, they said the scene should have taken 5 minutes tops to shoot. They could have done it 5 takes and been done in 5 minutes.
Terry Gilliam Kubricked it.
He did not. He was unhappy because the hamster would not roll on the wheel on cue. So they spent an entire day.
You could do that with a computer, even in '95.
Or just shadow puppets. It was just a shadow on the wall. It wasn't even the. Anyways. So for the rest of the movie, when he started getting neurotic about things, they called it the Hamster Theory.
Also known as Kubricking.
Kubricking, right. Right. Just being neurotic.
I don't know if that's an actual thing.
I spent $50,000 getting that.
Kubrick a verb.
Spent $50,000 getting a 2 second shot.
Yeah, Kubrick was known for spending way too much time making people do shots over and over and over until it was exactly the way he wanted it.
We're not even going to use it in this film anyway.
Again in the editing and changed his mind.
Who knows?
Well, somebody like that could never have somebody edit their film. They would have to edit the film themselves. You know this as being a video editor, Dave. I mean, could you imagine filming all your shit and then hand it over to somebody else and then trying to be happy with whatever they...
for the day when I can do that.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
I do rain dances. I have sacrificed small animals.
Here's 9 hours of video. Shave it down to 10 minutes. Shave it down to 10 minutes.
I would love that. I would love that personally. But I could see how it might, rub you the wrong way. You never rub another man's rhubarb.
Nah.
I read that somewhere. You're really not supposed to. It's considered.
And it'd be
rude.
like
in
all
like cultures.
To me. I feel that way when I'm like editing other people's like school papers and shit. It's
Why do you think they picked Bruce Willis? Why do you think they picked this man, this character that Bruce is playing? Why do you think they chose him from the future to send back in time to try to stop this?
Do you want my actual theory, or do you want some bullshit theory that doesn't spoil 3/4 of the movie?
Both. No, we're spoiling it. So give us your
we've already given the spoiler warning.
So at the very end of the movie, when what's his name runs into the woman who's in insurance, who we know is one of the people that sends him back in the first place. I think they know that he's the one that goes back and starts it all. I think they're just protecting their own timeline.
So all along, they're not trying to improve anything. They're trying to keep it from being worse.
They're just trying to make sure it happens, because if he doesn't go back, none of this happens.
Yeah, it would never happen. But it did happen because he went back, so it has to happen. And oh my god, I've gone cross-eyed.
And once you start time looping, you can't stop.
Timey-wimey.
Well, alright. Time is a funny thing. And it takes two hearts and one orifice to really understand it fully, correct?
Well, yes and no. There's actually Marvel Comics... and I'm bringing this up because recently they finished off this whole thing called Age of Ultron.
Oh, God.
Where they've basically rewritten the rules on time travel. Since the first time they did a time travel story, the way the rules have always worked is that if you go back in time and change events, you don't actually get rid of the timeline that you came from.
You create a new timeline. All you do is
create a new timeline where those things didn't happen.
So the Back to the Future 2 school, basically.
Kind of, yeah. But because you've now unrooted yourself from that timeline, you would just go... If you do go back forward, you go back to the new timeline. Or you just stay where you are. Depends on, what's going to happen. But and they've got whole characters whose backstories are devoted to that, like the Rachel Summers Phoenix or Bishop or even Cable or some of those guys. But now they've done it where they've broken time, and so things are happening in ways they shouldn't, and people just disappear if they don't exist anymore. And there was a reason I went on to Marvel Comics from 12 Monkeys, and I've forgotten what it was.
Time loop.
Time travel. I really do. I think what they're doing is they're just, I think they know that he has to go back, and so they send him back. Because it depends on what the rules for time are. And it may be one of those things that they don't know. Because if they don't know what the rules for time travel are, but they would like to make sure that they continue to live, then it's in their best interest to send him back, even if that condemns 5 billion people to die, because at least they're alive.
Unless they have got themselves stuck in a loop, to where they are unable to learn from their mistakes.
Well, they wouldn't be the ones in the loop. It's Cole that's in the loop.
But he doesn't know that, or nor do they.
in bringing it about.
Because Cole basically lives one big loop. That's all he is.
Yeah. He's the stable temporal loop in this whole thing.
He's the fixed point in time. Thank you. I was getting ready to say that, Mike. I'm glad you said that like that. I was thinking he's a fixed point in time. You cannot change that. You can change the things around that, but it never changes. Right?
Also, I would like to point out one of my favorite discussions ever on time travel came from a comic book called Atomic Robo. And it was from their free comic book day from a couple years ago. And without getting into the real big specifics of it, the basic idea was you can't travel in time because even if you could travel in time, you wouldn't be. You'd also have to be able to travel in space, or you'd be completely screwed because the Earth isn't going to be in the same place it was, at the point that you're traveling to.
So you could set the dial for maybe 1400 and wind up in the howling void of space, sucking vacuum, basically.
Yes, because the Earth isn't in that spot anymore.
No, it'd be like, it could be on the other side of the planet, or on the other side of the sun, depending on what month you set yourself for, right?
Exactly.
Unless you could calculate that too and move with it. How much RAM do you think?
But again, do you have the ability to travel in space as well as time, or are you just traveling in time?
Or is there even a difference between the two constructs? Ooh.
I'm so confused. I thought we were talking about Monty Python. So
we are. That's the great thing.
Bruce Willis,
right?
he really stretched his abilities here. Sure, he's got a shaved head. Sure, he's kind of playing the tough dude, but he is throughout this whole movie, he's confused, lost, vulnerable, fragile, and mostly confused.
Has no idea what the fuck is going on. It's a mystery.
Really, there it isn't
From
till
and his brain's a little fractured.
Sure, I mean yours would be too. Actually, mine is. I'm a little bit throbbing.
And you haven't even lived underground your whole life.
No,
due to the virus that
something
wiped out
I did notice throughout this whole movie as I was watching it, and I didn't read this anywhere else. And I thought, and I've been looking as I've watched it again. The barcode on his neck is supposed to be on the left side, behind his left ear, and there are times where it's on the other side, meaning they flip the image.
Yep.
And it's just funny to notice that because it's like, whoa, hold on, like that's I don't normally look for that kind of shit, but actually it becomes noticeable. And if I was a filmmaker, if I was Terry Gilliam and I look back, and maybe it's on both sides, I could be wrong, maybe it is on both sides. It's hard when you're watching. It's hard to know whether or not it is or if it's a mistake. But
he just has a bruise on that side of his head because he gets beaten up by the cops. But are you talking about it on his neck? Because there are barcodes on both sides of his neck.
Oh, it is on both sides. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I watched and
that way they can scan him from either side.
Ooh.
Of course, I'm still sitting here very amused that sales of 1984 went up by 7,000% on Amazon when this whole NSA Prism thing came out. So,
well, no, actually, I bought it
because people don't understand irony.
No, I bought it. I bought it as a tech manual. Honestly, I was like, well, what's going to happen next? And I didn't want to wait. Just like Game of Thrones. I was like, I'm going to read ahead.
But buying 1984 as an ebook on Amazon kind of defeats the point of 1984.
I didn't say I read it, Mike. I said I bought it.
No, you don't have to read it. Just the act of buying it.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, really? Are you divergent?
I also got Catcher in a Rye. Is there something wrong with that?
You're divergent? Well, yeah, that book sucks, but that's just me.
That also like a cultist, some sort of weird red flag kind of book of...
No, it's just a coming-of-age story. Kind of like this. No, except not at all.
Except not at all.
Except exactly not at all.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of Brad Pitt's character's coming-of-age story.
I think this movie tells us never trust a person.
Brad Pitt's a whole lot crazier.
Never trust a person with two different color eyes.
Well, there's that. Or never trust a crazy person. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Especially not if they're the one who talks to you in the crazy house. That that person's crazy.
Yeah, the person that's sitting there talking to the other crazy people is probably the craziest of the crazy people.
I did like you when he said about the games that they were there to numb your mind and make you conform to their freaking, their sedation. And them playing checkers and other board games. Like, oh, and these boards here, they're locked up. He's like, they're trying to get out. Like, little quotes like that.
Tell the day nurse ahead of time if you want to watch TV, because she can't control time. He mentions that very specifically. The day nurse can't control time in the present, 1990, rather, I should say, the past. But they can in the present future.
Well, yeah, in the future, that's what a day nurse is in the future. She's like, well, what day do you want to go to?
Well, they're not that good about it yet, though. See, and that's the thing, Mike. That's the thing. That might be my one hole in your theory. I'd buy that they're trying to secure their own existence through a stable time loop scenario, but at the same time, they don't seem to be that good about this whole time travel thing. But then again, that could just be a problem of perspective, because we're seeing this as a linear series of incidents, and of course, if you have time travel, that kind of becomes a moot point.
And they're seeing it as a linear series of events too, but they're just seeing a different line than we are.
And we're just seeing this one guy. We don't see, like, after they shoot like his capsule into the wall to the send him through time, the next 9 people that they send through that don't make it. Like,
we don't know what happens to Jose throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, there's other unknowns that, and they sent him back to the wrong time on more than one occasion. They are bad.
Yeah, time travel doesn't appear to be an exact science.
Yeah, well, you just get close, right? Like, and that's kind of brutal on somebody. Hey, you spend about 4 or 5 years to get comfortable, right? With no ID, no money, nothing, in a loony bin, and then we'll get you out of there.
One of the things that I love about this is, in addition to you would just end up in the cold vacuum of space. There's also the idea that if someone were able to get time travel up and running, it's one of those things where time travel doesn't exist until it does. So even if you do invent time travel, you can only travel back to a point where there was already time travel.
Hey, don't put limits on my time travel. I'll travel
I'm just giving you actual scientific theory.
Not even theoretical ones for easy drama? Well, no, you couldn't do that. Well, you could. You could write do something interesting with that, I guess.
Because if you think about it, if you could travel back in time to a point where there wasn't time travel, then there would already be people there.
Huh?
We would already know that people were traveling back to there. So,
no, really, we just found out our government was listening to everything we heard of. We're pretty sure aliens exist, but you know what? We're pretty sure aliens exist, but we've never really seen concrete evidence. Well, we're pretty sure the government was listening to everything we've ever done, but now it's different when you actually oh shit, we were right.
And actually, they found some meteor rocks somewhere in South Asia that may have had fossilized alien microbes in them. So cross your fingers, everybody.
They also found that 1 billion years ago, Mars had an oxygen-rich atmosphere.
Ooh. You know what that makes me want to do? It makes me want to take a break.
Get your ass to Mars?
Angry red women?
Ooh. It makes me want to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I'm feeling a little blue. I'm feeling a little blue, like Bruce Willis blue.
Black cat
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you are still listening to the Traumatic Cinematic Show. I am still Mugumbo, and with me is my two co-hosts, David DeMoss and Mike Wycliffe.
I'm not wearing a tutu.
He's neither a hero, so he says.
And they,
exactly what a hero would say.
And they go watch Vertigo.
So we came together tonight to talk about a movie. We came to talk about a movie, ladies and gentlemen. Something special. Called 12 Monkeys. Something Terry Gilliam put together. Something... He didn't write this, right? This was based on a French story or something, guys?
A French
it's
movie.
It's based on a French short film called La Jetée, I believe is how it's pronounced. But I could absolutely be wrong because I don't speak French.
It's the Jetty. It's Jetty. Yeah.
La Jetée. So, but this wasn't something. It was basically kind of written around this idea of whatever that movie kind of portrayed. But it really wasn't.
That movie was mostly about a guy going back in time. This
wound
one,
up
they
finding out that he was been haunted all his life by vision of
himself,
the death of his future self, I should say.
Well, yes,
a trauma that was unlike any other that
yes.
No person
haunted
could
him
overcome.
His whole life, yeah. And so we start
self-fulfilling prophecy.
The movie with that kid's eyes, right?
A self-fulfilling prophecy is what he becomes,
and it's one of those tenets of time travel stories that I never really like very much because, if you're going to travel in time, of all the places in the world that you could go, why would you go to where you grew up?
because he didn't have a choice, or he was drawn to it, or that's what the script said. My question to you is, what's your favorite Bruce Willis movie?
Honestly, it might be this one.
Really? Is this what do you think,
This
Dave?
is where he actually acts.
Well, one of the places.
What's...
I'm a big fan of Unbreakable.
Oh, I do like
would be
Unbreakable,
mine.
but that's
That'd
the
be mine.
only Shyamalan movie that I can stomach, to be honest with you.
Yes, we know.
Yes,
The
we
Fifth
did.
Element would come in second, of course, because
Fifth Element is a good movie.
I do like Fifth Element. I really liked him in Pulp Fiction, even though he did play himself in Pulp Fiction, basically.
Well, he's gotten to the point that he basically plays himself all the time. But
That
I
was
think
ter-
he was
that was-
actually the...
Whose chopper is this, baby? It's not a chopper.
I think he was the
Or
weakest
whose
part of
motorcycle is this,
Pulp
baby?
Fiction,
It's not a
but Pulp
motorcycle, it's a
Fiction's
chopper.
strong
Whose chopper
movie,
is this,
so.
baby? It's Zed's. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
I think he-
that
I
was
think he was the weakest
Tarantino, though,
point
and
of-
Tarantino
of-
just wanted Bruce Willis, right? I mean,
Well, yeah.
And just in case you guys were worried, they have announced Die Hardest, 2015, and also Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, 2013. Are we getting this year? Really?
It's
Yes,
been pushed
yes,
back
we-
till next year.
What?
So
They announced that just recently.
I did really
the
like.
time stream is decaying even further. God damn it!
I did really like Looper, which is kind of funny because it's another time travel-y kind of movie.
It's actually sitting on my desk right now. I got it earlier this week. And,
Really? Well, it was all fine, but I can't believe the good guy killed the person in the end. Oh, geez, you had to say. No, I'm just teasing, dude. I'm just playing. No, actually, it's actually a pretty good movie. It is kind of weird when they actually go out of their way to make a what's his name? Come on, help me out here, buddy. Not Bruce Willis, but the kid that was in Batman, that was in
Joseph
Third-
Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, thank you, Dave. When they meet, they kind of it's weird. It's weird. So enjoy it. Also, something else I didn't like Expendables. I'm one of those weird people.
Sane people. I call them.
Cop Out. I wasn't a terribly big fan of Cop Out. Not really.
Well, to
But-
hear Kevin Smith talk about Cop Out is hysterical because he didn't write the movie. He wanted to see what it would be like
paycheck.
to direct a movie that he didn't write. This was the first movie he directed that he didn't write. Because he'd never done that before, and he was trying to stretch himself. And so when the opportunity to work with Bruce Willis, who he's been a fan of for forever, came up, he's like, hell yeah, I want to work with Bruce Willis.
Oh, and Bruce scared the shit out of him too, right?
Well, I've scared the shit out of him, but was a total dick to him, apparently.
Yeah, I think this is part of his where he went around and would speak to the colleges and stuff, right? Or do some of his.
He still talks about it on his. It comes up because
there's a big event.
That, Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy cartoon movie that he's been touring around, and so people keep asking him about it in the Q&As afterwards. They did it when he was here in Indianapolis, but it keeps turning up on the podcast too because people keep asking him about it in the show.
Can't blame him. I don't know, guys. There might be a part of me that Hudson Hawk might kind of rank up there. It's like that forgotten.
It's a fun, bad movie.
It is a fun, bad movie with candy bar villains, and instead of using digital watches, they sing songs to keep time of their calamities of thievery. I don't know. It's one of those things that you forget that he was even in, right? But how can you forget about Moonlighting, right?
Easily.
Well, you didn't ask us about our favorite TV show.
Oh, true. And that's really where that's where he had hair. I don't know. Well, I'm really pretty. We're pretty lucky to have I mean, he's not the greatest action adventure star, but he never really tried to be. And Die Hard is awesome. And this movie,
I don't know. I think 5 Die Hard movies makes you a pretty big time action.
Well, it does
star.
now. It does now, but. The last 2 that have been done, have been here recently. I don't really count those.
They still made a giant pile of money.
Oh, sure. But
Whether they were good or not, they made a giant pile of money.
Yeah, that still counts. They're Die Hard movies. They're just horrible ones.
I can't count those as part of just because I haven't seen them enough times. I've seen
Die
the other
Hard 3 wasn't actually a Die Hard movie. It was originally a sequel for Lethal Weapon.
That makes sense. Actually, that actually makes perfect sense because that's exactly what but it was awesome. Samuel L. Jackson never says I'm too old for this shit though.
No,
but he should have. It would have made sense.
Originally, that movie was supposed to be a sequel for Lethal Weapon.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
Passed on.
I could totally see. Well, probably because they didn't want to do it. They were worn out. They're too old for that shit. Right?
Well, in '95, but 2 years later, they were like, "Oh God, we'll do that, and let's get Jet Li up in there."
And Danny Glover's like, "I'm making Predator 2. I've got other ideas."
No, that was 5 years beforehand. Predator 2,
okay.
and shut up, Predator 2 was awesome.
It was awesome. Actually, he was awesome in that movie too. I mean, he wasn't too old for that shit.
Well, let's face it, Danny Glover did more damage to the Predators than Schwarzenegger and an entire platoon of Marines.
And he earned their respect, and that's a pretty big thing in Predator when it comes.
Which is why Danny Glover is the biggest badass on the planet.
He really is, and we can really do a box set on
Silverado,
those stupid movies. Because I know how much Dave likes talking about aliens too. So
I really
like to try to do a good 4 or 5 hours on just Aliens 2 alone. Because
you mean Alien 2 on Earth?
Yeah. Or
that fucking movie.
Which one of the aliens? You hate one of the Alien movies? I just know you do. You
more than one actually at this point. But that's just because they keep fucking making them. They should just stop. But anyway, 12 Monkeys. Have you heard about the Army of the 12 Monkeys?
I you know what? I love the logo they came up with. That comes from the guy that does the promotion for everything. And I like their.
It's basically the monkey from a barrel of monkeys.
But it's still cool, and it looks all retro and neat and dirty and grungy, and I just like.
You
that
want
kind
a tattoo?
Stuff. No.
Darn, because I kind of do.
And the reference to 12 Monkeys in and of itself is actually from Wizard of Oz. So.
That's right. It is, and there's also some other references to other. There being like 5 of the doctors every time, or 6 of the doctors every time that he goes back in time and forward in time. whenever he wakes up, there's like the people that are grilling him. There's always like a certain amount of them, which count for something, and this, that, or another.
That's true. Well, parallelism is all up in this shit. I mean, not just the beginning and the ending. It's like the entire thing could fold back on itself to make this, like, you know,
and it
perfect
does.
shape. And yes, it's I love it. And but yeah, we go from in like 5 minutes, we go all over the map in this movie, from like THX 1138 to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And it's one of those, because that's the thing you can do with time travel. You can blend all of these genres into something completely weird, psychological determinist sci-fi. How's that for a head trip?
Now, I had heard...
it does trump my note here of nobody does dystopia better than Gilliam and French.
I have heard that there is some connections between Time Bandits, Brazil, and this, and 12 Monkeys here.
They were all directed by Terry Gilliam?
Yes, but there's like things that he used in them that kind of connect them into the same universe amongst themselves.
I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any particular personification.
Yeah,
of evil
and usually we would already. I would have seen that on Wikipedia or IMDb or throughout my research. But I'd always heard that in the past. Time Bandits, or maybe it was Time Bandits, Baron Munchausen, and 12 Monkeys. But anyway, so.
I don't know. I think you may be making shit up.
No, I want to hear this.
Maybe. That there's something that connects the universes to where, like, how a kind of like Stephen King does everything in the the East Coast in Maine and Castle Rock.
Terry Gilliam didn't write this movie.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that he didn't still influence it in other ways. As far as I don't know, it was just something.
And I'd still incorporate it into my extended universe.
a wise tale or a wives' tale or a urban myth that I had heard for years before we had the internet about this movie, and had always wondered. So apparently, you guys have no knowledge of it, so shouldn't even brought it up.
To me, sorry.
But now I want to watch it again just to see if there's anything I missed.
Well, no, actually, I want to.
I was just trying to appreciate the filmmaking of it and trying to, like usual, I'm hunting for all the Gilliamisms, which I was wondering. They did seem a little bit forced. And now I hear from Mike that he was fighting his production team the whole time. Which I could
because they all wanted to make a Gilliam movie. They'd be hard.
And from Louis, and you're telling me that he's Kubricking. That makes perfect sense for why the movie looks this way. It's kind of scattershot compared to obviously the Python work or the stuff he made.
Well, one of the things that he says. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, the real cut of Brazil, not the studio cut, but go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
One of the things that he says is that when he was shooting this movie, he kind of did cave to the studio.
How so?
In that they made suggestions and he just took them. Also, some of the, when they do some of these test screenings, he went on for a little while in the commentary about how you get these people that all they want is an opinion of, did you like it? And if you didn't, what didn't you like? That now all these people, because they've been asked their opinion on this movie, have decided that means that they need to be an ad executive and say, well, I don't think people will understand this, and I don't think people will understand that. So instead of just giving them a did you like it answer, they start giving an answer based on what they think other people will think. And
that's really sad.
I'll be real honest. This is not a... I would not call this a popcorn movie. This is...
No, this is a thinking movie.
Yes, this is not... This is a movie to watch by yourself and enjoy, really. It's not something that you really need to watch. The reason to watch it as a group would be to discuss it after it was over with. It would be, I guess, my suggestion there. Kind of like we're doing
Another
here.
good movie for that? is another Terry Gilliam movie called Tideland. I'm really interested to hear other people's opinions of that movie.
I've got it sitting here, Mike. I bought it with all the other Gilliam movies that I bought, and but I haven't watched it yet. The only Gilliam movie I'm missing is
Fisher King.
Fisher King.
Yeah, it's okay.
That I know of.
The dude's in it. It's okay.
Does he abide?
He does. The dude does abide. Yes.
There is a new movie with him that he kind of looks like the dude. Have you seen the trailer for it, Mike?
Oh,
kind of looks like the dude in all of his movies. For the past
but
10
this
years.
one he's actually playing more of the man, but he still is playing the dude.
In the new Tron movie, he was basically computer dude.
He was computer dude. He's like, hey, it's
so
digital dude.
That is gets. That is good.
Digital dude.
Go for it.
Thank you. Oh yeah.
But no, he's basically become the dude.
There's worse things to become.
But Jeff Bridges actually, he was one of the original picks for James Cole.
That's right.
Not surprised me at all.
And Nick Nolte, they want to get Nick Nolte in it too.
Apparently, Bruce Willis was up for his part in Fisher King.
Lost out to
but it just didn't work out that way.
Well, Gilliam's friends with Nick Nolte, or really likes Jeff Bridges, and wanted to get. And Jeff Bridges is really good friends with Nick Nolte, and they wanted him in this also. And but that didn't work out because I don't think Gilliam liked him. But there was something because they never gotten to work together at that time.
And they did eventually, but I guess also when Brad Pitt auditioned for this movie, he wanted to be Cole, but they thought he was actually too young because they wanted to put more time between when he was a kid and when he was an adult, since it is one big loop for that character.
Yeah, Brad Pitt looks really young in this. I mean, there's no denying that.
Well, and it's a completely different character than anything he's really played. With the snappy dialogue and the twitching and the one of the things that I read said that they couldn't get him to get it right until they took away his cigarettes.
Yeah, that was Gilliam. They said Gilliam took his cigarettes away, and then it was perfect, spot on, which is funny.
That would do it. It.
One of the things he said in the commentary is that Pitt actually checked himself into a mental institution as part of his research to play Goines, and he did such a good job they didn't necessarily want to let him out.
Well, of course not. He was able to pay the bills. Hey, this guy's insurance is really good.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure some of that is him telling stories.
It totally is. Because it totally is. We Missourians, we lie through our teeth. We tell stories all the time.
Oh, look at Dave. He's relating. He's like, oh, yeah, like us Missourians, we go way back. I know his mentality.
I thought Gilliam was from Minnesota, though.
No,
same thing. Both start with an M.
Oh, okay.
But no, but at the same time, though, Jeffrey Goines is kind of like, did anybody else see that his movie California with a K?
I saw part of it.
I've seen
Mulder's
the cover
in it.
Of it.
I know. I think that might have been why I turned it off. I tend to either really like him or really not care.
Yeah, because that's when you can tell when he really doesn't care.
Yeah, you can tell when he's kind of checked out.
But so David Duchovny was
like
a journalist.
Evolution.
Or something, yeah.
Ooh, I like Evolution. I love that movie.
I like that movie too, but he's completely checked out.
That movie proves aliens are the new zombies.
In 1998, maybe.
I know, isn't that crazy how ahead of their time they were?
Well, 96.
Anyway, so 12 Monkeys.
No, Evolution was just Ghostbusters without proton packs.
It was freaking fun.
And I would say that his Brad Pitt's character...
Right down to the one black guy in the whole movie.
And I'd say Brad Pitt's character in 12 Monkeys is very much like his character in California, except had that character been rich and locked up at an early age instead of a ripoff of Natural Born Killers.
So
it's no Tobey Maguire in Fear and Loathing.
So what is when we're talking Gilliam here, when we're talking Gilliam, right? What's your favorite of the Gilliam collection?
Oh, that's tough.
This week
can be television, can be movie, can be
ultimately Brazil.
Yes.
Although it is very close with Time Bandits, but ultimately Brazil.
Yeah, sticking just to movies, I'm going to go with Fear and Loathing. Because if we throw TV in there, then he wrote too many Monty Python sketches. There's no way to... No. Can't pick. Not going to pick. Not going to do it.
I mean, it's tough, guys. I mean, really, honestly, I absolutely love Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas for so many different reasons than just Terry Gilliam. I guess if I just look at Gilliam himself, probably Brazil. But like, as an overall, my favorite of movies, Fear and Loathing probably ranks higher.
Now,
but if I'm looking at just as far as
thing will be whether or not those rankings stick after this winter, when Zero Theorem comes out and looks really interesting.
Ooh, what's Zero Theorem?
Zero Theorem is a new movie that he's doing that has a lot of good people in it. They're doing something weird that we're not... I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like they've got multiple people playing the same role and multiple people playing different roles, and it's something... There's something going on, and I don't know what.
Is it 62 frames per second?
I don't know.
Dave?
No. Thank God.
But it's a very bizarre sounding movie. They released an image earlier this week. It kind of leaked out. It was the first look of any of the characters from the movie. It was Matt Damon. And it just says Matt Damon is management in Zero Theorem.
Management. That means he's got. It's going to be a
I
Terry
don't know
Gilliam
what it
movie.
means. In a Terry Gilliam movie, it could mean a lot of things. But almost as soon as it came out, the picture was yanked from everywhere, and then a new edited picture has taken its place where they've blacked out Matt Damon's face, except for they put a pair of glasses, or they've got a pair of glasses that are over his face, that are over the blacked out. You can actually see the glasses all the way still. Under the caption says something along the lines of, "For legal reasons, we can't admit that Matt Damon is in this movie," or something like that. So we've edited out the offending parts that might give people the wrong idea, something to that effect.
So they're making their own.
He's tweaking people, but
right.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. But Zero Theorem is looking better and better every time I see something.
Wow, we might have to have a traumatic cinematic event where we all go on the same day, try to organize.
Supposed to be out in the winter.
Try to organize, we all go see it and then record about it the next night or something.
Well, they're still in post-production, so I can't find a release date.
Well, we'll see, ladies and gentlemen, and we will definitely keep you posted as the spectacular journalists that we are.
As the Gilliam train comes rolling towards us again. Wait, December 20th.
Chugga, chugga, chugga.
Ooh,
close to my birthday.
December, but I wasn't sure enough.
Close to my birthday. We could have dude, that's what we should do. We'll rent out the theater and we'll do a teleconference. And
you go right ahead. I'm not paying for that.
Birthday present to yourself. Yes.
Aw, never mind.
If you can talk your wife into letting you spend that much money.
We'll get GoFobo to sponsor us.
Ooh. Well, if we're going to get somebody to sponsor us, can it be somebody with a lot of money?
Oh, damn it. I don't trust any of those people.
Anyway.
But I'll double cross them, I swear. I promise. It'll be easy.
Folks.
They'll never see me coming.
Don't forget,
Aww.
We're the Traumatic Cinematic Show. You can find us at traumaticcinematic.com. We got all sorts of special things there that you're just going to enjoy. We got convention coverage. we got reviews, we got movies. Most of all, we have podcasts. The rest of this stuff's been there for a while. So, folks, check it out. Remember to check out our current event show this week. Remember, folks, you can find Dave at AYTIWS.com and on Twitter at
AYTIWS.
Oh, wow. That's so convenient.
Isn't it just?
Way to brand. Way to brand. Mike here is available at
Gray Matter Splat.
Oh, I thought it was Heroes Within Myself. Or I'm not a hero. But I am. He's a hero. He's our big hero. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to find the hero within yourself. All right, so folks, that's it. We're out of here. All we can do is go downhill from here, right? We've hit the peak.
Or we could go back in time. Oh,
maybe we did.
Where's Huey Lewis?
Where's Huey Lewis? He hasn't been discovered yet. Oh. All right, guys. I'm gonna stick a fork in it. I'm done. You done?
Okay.
I'm on the internet.
I found my thrill